Let's talk about the polar vortex, a term you've probably heard tossed around on the news or in conversations every time winter gets especially harsh. It sounds dramatic, almost like something out of a science fiction movie, but the polar vortex is a real and powerful force of nature that shapes the weather for millions of people each year. But what does it really mean? Why does it matter, and how does it affect the weather outside your window? Picture a giant spinning mass of frigid air high above the North Pole, swirling like a colossal icy hurricane in the upper atmosphere. This isn't just a patch of cold air, it's a vast, powerful system that circles the Arctic, locked in place during the heart of winter, acting as a barrier that keeps the coldest air trapped far to the north. When the polar vortex is strong and stable, it acts like a fortress, keeping the Arctic chill bottled up and away from the rest of the world. The cold stays where it belongs, and winters in the mid-latitudes tend to be milder. But if the vortex weakens or becomes unstable, it can wobble and split, sending tongues of icy Arctic air plunging southward. Suddenly, places like North America, Europe and Asia can find themselves in the grip of a deep freeze, with temperatures dropping far below normal. This isn't just a chilly breeze, it's a bone-chilling blast straight from the planet's coldest regions. Streets become icy, snow piles up, and life can grind to a halt as people scramble to stay warm and safe. A disrupted vortex can turn what was shaping up to be a mild winter into a severe one almost overnight. One day you're enjoying a gentle snowfall, and the next, you're buried under feet of snow with temperatures that make even the hardiest shiver. The polar vortex isn't a storm itself, but it's the invisible force that sets the stage for some of the most extreme winter weather events we experience. It's the reason why winter can sometimes feel so unpredictable and wild. The polar vortex also controls the jet stream, a fast-moving river of air high above the Earth, which acts like a conveyor belt, guiding storms and cold air across continents. When the vortex is disturbed, the jet stream can dip and bend, steering frigid air and powerful storms into new areas. When the vortex is disturbed, weather patterns can shift dramatically, leading to sudden cold snaps, blizzards, or even unexpected warm spells in some regions. The ripple effects can be felt thousands of miles away from the Arctic itself. That's why meteorologists and climate scientists are watching the polar vortex closely right now, using satellites and computer models to predict what it might do next. Their forecasts help us prepare for whatever winter has in store. Understanding the polar vortex is key to understanding your winter, whether you're planning a trip, getting your home ready, or just trying to figure out if you'll need that extra layer tomorrow. And this year, it's already making headlines, reminding us that the polar vortex is more than just a buzzword. It's a powerful force that can shape our lives in surprising ways. Right now, high above the Arctic, something extraordinary is unfolding in the atmosphere. The polar vortex, a vast spinning pool of frigid air that circles the North Pole, is experiencing a dramatic event known as sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW. This rare phenomenon is one of the most powerful drivers of winter weather on our planet, and it's happening as we speak. Picture the polar vortex as a colossal ring of howling winds, usually spinning with relentless force. But now imagine those winds suddenly slowing down, or even reversing direction altogether. This dramatic shift is triggered by massive atmospheric waves, giant ripples of energy, that surge up from the lower atmosphere and crash into the stratosphere, disrupting the vortex's flow. As these waves break, they unleash a burst of heat into the stratosphere above the pole. Temperatures can skyrocket by as much as 50 degrees Celsius in just a few days. A staggering transformation for a region that's usually bitterly cold. This rapid warming is like flipping a switch in the upper atmosphere. The result? The once stable vortex weakens, stretches, or even splits apart entirely. When this happens, huge blobs of Arctic air are unleashed, spilling southward into North America, Europe, and Asia. These cold surges can bring dramatic changes to our weather, from deep freezes to heavy snowstorms. Think of the polar vortex, like a spinning basketball balanced on your finger. If you give it a sudden nudge, it wobbles and spins out of control, sending pieces flying in all directions. That's exactly what's happening in the atmosphere right now, but don't expect the effects to hit instantly. There's usually a delay, a week or two, before the cold air reaches the surface and transforms our weather. It's like watching a slow-motion domino effect, as the atmosphere gradually responds to the chaos above. This lag gives meteorologists a crucial window of opportunity, With advanced models and satellite data, they can track the unfolding changes and issue early warnings, helping communities prepare for what's coming. When an SSW is detected, it's a major clue that a big pattern shift is on the horizon. It's like a flashing signal that winter's script is about to be rewritten, often in dramatic fashion. In a sense, the Arctic's gate has swung open, and frigid air is now on the move, ready to surge into regions that may have been enjoying milder weather just days before. Meteorologists around the world are already tracking these frigid air masses, using cutting-edge technology to predict where the cold will strike next and how intense it might be. The shakeup is underway, and winter is about to get a lot more interesting. From sudden snowstorms to plunging temperatures, the impacts of this stratospheric surprise will soon be felt on the ground. So stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of a wild winter story, and the next chapter is about to unfold. What makes this event remarkable is its timing. Major SSWs usually happen later in winter, not in early December. An early disruption means the cold could lock in for weeks, impacting the holiday season and beyond. Instead of easing into winter, millions may be plunged straight into the deep freeze. This isn't a late-season cold snap, it's a fundamental shift for the whole winter. Why now? It's a complex mix of atmospheric waves, Arctic ice, and even tropical weather patterns. Some research suggests Arctic changes may be making the vortex more prone to these wobbles. What's certain? The disruption is happening, and it's early. The dominoes are already falling, and the cold is coming. Get ready for a colder-than-average start to winter. When the vortex weakens, the jet stream loses its tight path and starts to meander. Deep dips in the jet stream let Arctic air plunge south, causing extreme cold snaps. Meanwhile, ridges bring unusual warmth elsewhere, so not everyone gets the deep freeze. This wavy pattern can get stuck, locking cold air in place for days or weeks. That's why a disrupted vortex can mean a long, harsh winter, not just a single cold day. The storm track also shifts, increasing the risk of heavy snow where cold and moist air collide. It's a domino effect: weak vortex, wavy jet stream, persistent cold, and active storms. The result? A winter of extremes. And it all starts high above the pole. For North America, the Northeast and Midwest are in the crosshairs. The jet stream's new path funnels Arctic air straight into cities from Chicago to Boston. Expect a sudden, sharp drop in temperatures, highs barely above 0 Fahrenheit, with dangerous wind chills. The risk of major snowstorms rises as cold air clashes with Atlantic moisture, especially along the I-95 corridor. Not all of North America will freeze. The West could see milder, drier weather. But for the East, winter is arriving early, and it's coming in strong. Time to dig out those heavy coats and gloves. The deep freeze is on its way. Europe isn't spared. Northern and eastern regions face a dramatic shift to colder weather. A split vortex often parks over Siberia, building up the beast from the east. Winds drag this frigid air across Europe, threatening cities from London to Berlin. Blocking high pressure can cut off Atlantic warmth, letting Siberian cold sweep in. Expect freezing temperatures, ice, and increased chances of heavy snow, especially near the North and Baltic seas. The pattern could last for weeks, disrupting travel and daily life. After a mild autumn, Europe should brace for a sudden, severe winter. The Siberian bear is knocking at the door. In Asia, the weakened vortex supercharges the Siberian high, creating a dome of intense cold. This cold air surges into China, Korea, and Japan, bringing temperatures far below average. Major cities like Beijing, Seoul, and Tokyo could see deep freezes and heavy snow. Japan's famous sea-effect snow could reach epic levels as Siberian air picks up Pacific moisture. The impacts will be felt from mid-December onward. It's a global chain reaction. What starts above the North Pole ends with blizzards and deep freezes across continents. The atmosphere knows no borders. Asia, like the rest of the Northern Hemisphere, should prepare for a winter to remember. What does all this mean for daily life? A prolonged cold snap affects everything. Energy demand spikes, straining power grids and raising costs. Transportation grinds to a halt. Flights delayed, roads icy, trains and buses struggling in the cold. Agriculture suffers. Overwintering crops and livestock are at risk, and supply chains slow down. Health risks rise, especially for the vulnerable. Frostbite, hypothermia, and frozen pipes become real threats. Even simple commutes require extra caution and preparation. A disrupted polar vortex isn't just a weather story, it's about energy, infrastructure, and public health. That's why preparation matters. The cold is coming, and it will touch every part of our lives. Are you ready? So, how can you prepare for the challenges of winter weather? Whether you're facing a blizzard, icy roads, or just a cold snap, a little planning goes a long way. First, stay informed. Follow local forecasts on TV, radio, or your favorite weather app. Set up weather alerts on your devices so you'll know about any sudden changes or warnings as soon as they happen. Make sure your heating system is working efficiently. Schedule a maintenance check if you haven't already, and test your thermostat to ensure it's keeping your home warm. Seal up drafts around windows and doors, with weather stripping or insulation to keep the warmth in and the cold out. This not only keeps you comfortable, but can also help save on energy bills. Know where your water shutoff valve is in case pipes freeze and burst. It's also smart to insulate exposed pipes to help prevent freezing. Prepare an emergency kit with blankets, flashlights, batteries, canned food, and other essentials. Don't forget to include enough bottled water for several days, and any medications or special items your family might need. Ready your car for winter conditions. Check your tires for proper tread, test your battery, and top off antifreeze. Cold weather can be tough on vehicles, so regular maintenance is key. Keep a winter kit in your car with an ice scraper, blanket, jumper cables, snacks, and a flashlight. These items can be lifesavers if you get stranded. If travel is risky, it's best to stay home. But if you must go out, always let someone know your route and expected arrival time. Dress in layers to stay warm. A thick coat, hat, gloves, and scarf will help protect you from the cold. Waterproof boots are essential for keeping your feet dry and warm, especially if you need to walk through snow or slush. Remember to check on neighbors, especially the elderly or those living alone, to make sure they're safe and have what they need. Even short exposure to extreme cold can be dangerous, so look out for each other and offer help when you can. A little preparation now can make a big difference when winter weather hits. It's all about staying ahead of the storm. Stay safe, stay warm, and enjoy the comfort of your home while the snow falls outside. Keep an eye on the forecast and be ready to adjust your plans if conditions change. Winter is here. Let's be ready for whatever it brings so you and your loved ones can weather the season safely and comfortably.